Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtake. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text number 67. So we are coming towards completion of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna in 66th verse, he talked the famous verse, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Praja. And now he is saying, Idam de na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana. Na cha shru shru shve vachyam na cha mam yo abhisuyati. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Prabhupada says, persons who have not undergone the austerities of the religious process, who have never attempted devotional service in Krishna consciousness, who have not tended a pure devotee, and especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical personality or who are envious of the greatness of Krishna, should not be told this most confidential part of knowledge. So when Krishna said this confidential knowledge, so means in the previous two verses which he said about Manmana Madhbhakto, that verse, and then Sarva Dharman Parityaja. So Prabhupada saying they should not be told this most confidential. So obviously they will not understand it, they will not take it in the right frame of mind, they will not take it in the right mood, and they will commit offenses. But at the same time, as preachers, as followers of Srila Prabhupada, we have to preach, and we don't know who's austere or not and who's envious or not. So we do preach, but we give the basic knowledge in the beginning. Just like we try to say that, oh, you take up bhakti and it will make you peaceful, and it does make you peaceful. Everybody's under so much of stress. But at the same time, we don't want to get into too much deep details in the beginning. And that can turn people off, actually. And it has happened out of my immaturity. I did that in the beginning, and it actually people went away. And then slowly you realize to what extent you have to speak to normal people, common people. Prabhupada further says, it's however sometimes found that even demoniac persons who are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in a different way, take to the profession of explaining Bhagavad Gita in a different way to make business. But anyone who desires actually to understand Krishna must avoid such commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada wrote his commentary on Bhagavad Gita when somebody told him there's 700 or 800 different commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. And then Prabhupada wrote his Bhagavad Gita as it is, explaining the right meaning of Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna wanted to say. And that's why he's saying that one must avoid such commentaries on Bhagavad Gita which don't explain it properly, what Krishna wants. We can try reading different Swami's Bhagavad Gitas, and I have read one and I didn't really understand anything, except when I read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. Actually, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is not understandable to those who are sensuous, means who are not austere. Even if one is not sensuous but is strictly following the disciplines enjoined in the Vedic scripture, if he is not a devotee, he also cannot understand Krishna. So, So to understand Krishna, to understand Bhagavad Gita, it's not just a textbook. It's good that now government is trying to start Bhagavad Gita study in the schools, and so many even in European countries, some places they're trying to keep Bhagavad Gita as a textbook. But it's very important to understand that one cannot become a follower, one cannot understand Bhagavad Gita unless until he becomes a devotee, unless until he approaches Bhagavad Gita, and through Bhagavad Gita he approaches Krishna in the right frame of mind. He won't be able to understand. And Prabhupada says, even when one poses himself as a devotee of Krishna but is not engaged in Krishna conscious activities, he also cannot understand Krishna. See, there are many persons who envy Krishna because he has explained in Bhagavad Gita that he is the supreme and that nothing is above him or equal to him. There are many persons who are envious of Krishna. Such persons should not be told of Bhagavad Gita, for they cannot understand it. There is no possibility of faithless persons understanding Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Without understanding Krishna from the authority of a pure devotee, one should not try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita. And it has become a fashion. Yes, people try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita. It's such a sacred text. Krishna himself spoke all these verses. And we just take it very lightly. And especially when they try to compare our body to the battlefield of Mahabharata, and the five senses is five Pandavas, and the mind is Krishna, and rest of the organs are like Duryodhana and the Kauravas. I don't know where in the world they get this kind of analogies from. Nothing is there in Bhagavad Gita. So to understand Bhagavad Gita, to understand Krishna, there's so many requirements. One has to be austere, devoted, engaged in devotion. So see, Prabhupada is clearly saying, even if one is not sensuous, means he's not into sense gratification activities, but is strictly following the disciplines. But if he is not a devotee, he also cannot understand Krishna. And even when one poses himself as a devotee of Krishna, but is not engaged in Krishna conscious activities, he also cannot understand Krishna. And unfortunately, in India, when we preach, and so many people we come across, oh, I know Krishna. There's just simply they say, and they shrug their shoulders and they go, I know Krishna, I know Bhagavad Gita, I know everything. Bhagavad Gita, if you ask people what's the most important words of Bhagavad Gita, oh, karam kiya ja phal ki chinta mat kar, Krishna said that. Karmanya evadikaraste, ma phaleshu kadachana. Even that verse, they just quote 1/4 of that verse, and they don't even understand that quotation, whatever they're quoting. If Krishna had only this thing to say, the karam kiya ja phal ki chinta mat kar, then why did he speak 16 more chapters after the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Why did he come to the level of pure devotional service? Why did he give so many instructions of all the qualities that we have to develop, that a self-realized person should have these qualities? If he had just simply to say, karam kiya ja phal ki chinta mat kar. If he had just told Arjun, you just fight, don't worry about the result. How would Arjun develop this faith that he is doing the right thing? Unless until one is a devotee, one has full faith in Krishna, how in the world he can carry out the instructions of Krishna? Krishna had to show him the whole universal form. One full chapter is on that universal form. Why didn't Krishna just say, just do your activity, do your duty, and that's it. No. In the end, Krishna is telling, become a devotee. Think of me. Offer obeisance to me, or worship me. That's what Krishna is expecting from all of us. And then in that right frame of mind, in that right consciousness, when we do our other duties and offering the results to him, then our material duty also becomes bhakti. Arjuna was shooting arrows, he was killing warriors, he killed his grandfather, he arranged for Dronacharya to be killed also. But that was considered as bhakti. How can we say if we do something wrong and say, oh no, this is bhakti? No. So people don't understand Bhagavad Gita and forget about understanding Bhagavad Gita. We don't even follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. So how in the world we can expect to be called a devotee of Krishna? Bhagavad Gita is very, very sublime message is given in Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, he had read Bhagavad Gita 108 times. We should also go over and over and over Bhagavad Gita. And then every time there will be different realizations. And every time, because if we are making progress in bhakti, we'll find out new and newer meanings in Bhagavad Gita. Not just because of our intelligence, because Krishna is getting pleased with us. By his mercy, we can realize newer and newer meanings from Bhagavad Gita. In fact, Prabhupada, when he wrote his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he wrote this commentary based on the commentary of Sripad Baldev Vidyabhushan. So once he was just speaking with, I believe it was Shuddhkirti Prabhu or Harisori Prabhu, that they were asking, so Prabhupada, after you finish this book, maybe after Chaitanya Charitamrita, what else, what are you going to write on? And Prabhupada said, maybe I'll write a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Devotees are shocked. There's a Prabhupada, you already gave a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada said, but that commentary was based on commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan. Now there's so many commentaries. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiv Goswami, so many acharyas have written their commentaries. So even acharyas of the same line, Gaudiya Vaishnava line, and every year so many acharyas have given different commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Means just imagine their realizations will be so different. Their mood of service to Krishna is different. Their relationship with Krishna, Srimati Radharani, is different. So when they write their realization, when they pen down their realizations in the purport or commentaries of Bhagavad Gita, how different that would be. So it's not like one commentary of Bhagavad Gita and that's it, that is the final answer. No, it's everybody's relationship is different. But the condition is, basic condition is, one should be devotee, engage in devotional service, austere, anusuyave, non-envious of Krishna. Then he has some basic qualification to understand Gita and to understand Krishna. And more special or close relationship with Krishna, and that makes him more eligible, or that makes him eligible to pen down his realizations of the different verses of Bhagavad Gita. So it'll be really wonderful to read other commentaries of Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas who have really established their bhakti, their relationship with Krishna. So what they have to write about different verses of Bhagavad Gita. So, text 68. Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshva vidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mame veshyati asanshaya. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. So this verse we devotees like to quote when we are doing book distribution. So we say one who explains. So I cannot explain to others about this conversation or about this instructions of Krishna. So at least I can or others can give Bhagavad Gita to others, so that will make us very dear to Krishna. Which, of course, anybody who distributes Bhagavad Gita or gives this knowledge to others is very dear to Srila Prabhupada. And one who is dear to Prabhupada, definitely will be dear to Krishna. But here a different meaning is given. Prabhupada says, generally it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed among the devotees only. For those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's a subject matter for the devotees only and not for philosophical speculators. It's a subject matter for devotees only. And devotees, they relish Krishna's talking about Krishna, or they relish listening to what Krishna had to say to Arjuna. But since we are not at the level of when we called a devotee of Krishna, so that's why we don't really enjoy these philosophical talks in Bhagavad Gita, and devotees get bored. They want to hear stories. Why? Because we don't have that relationship with Krishna. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is, will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. So that's it. Everything is in Bhagavad Gita. We don't have to jump to the literatures with very deep, intimate pastimes, confidential pastimes of Krishna with the gopis. We cannot understand. If we cannot even understand Bhagavad Gita, forget about the other pastimes of Krishna. But Krishna has given us clear shot of going back to spiritual world. He said, just discuss this topic of Bhagavad Gita with my devotees, and definitely pure devotional service is guaranteed. He's guaranteed. He's saying asanshaya, without doubt. You just take it for sure. See, this is Krishna and Arjuna talking. And this happened towards the end of Dwapar Yuga, beginning of Kali Yuga. In no other scripture we will find that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, has to try to convince Arjuna, and through Arjuna to all of us, just believe it without doubt. He's saying, do not doubt me, because we Kali-yugi people, we are ready to doubt Krishna. And he said, don't doubt me, asanshaya. And a couple of times more he has said that in Bhagavad Gita, asanshaya, he has used this word. Because he knows our mentality. Then he's saying, for sure you will come back to me. All you have to do is preach this message of Bhagavad Gita to other devotees. And pure devotional service is guaranteed. And Prabhupada is writing it also, guaranteed. So we'd like to be a pure devotee. First of all, we like to be a devotee of Krishna. And then definitely we want to be pure devotee. There's an aspiration, there's a desire. So Krishna has given the process. The path is clear. There is no other process. It's not like Prabhupada is saying this. So it's not like we go and touch feet of Prabhupada or touch feet of Guruji, touch feet of other devotees, and now I become a pure devotee. No. That gives us a chance to make advancement, yes. But to become a pure devotee, foremost thing is to preach this message to others, especially to Krishna's devotees. Then he is guaranteeing it in this verse, another beautiful verse. Na cha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priyakrittamah bhavita cha me tasman danya priyataro bhuvi. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So clearly Krishna is saying, one who preaches this message to others is very, very dear to me. Now, we have discussed earlier our different classes. What is this preaching? Yes, it is giving classes like this, discussing with others the message of Krishna, but preaching at the same time is by our dealing with others. Even if I don't have full knowledge, but my dealings are very sweet, full of Krishna consciousness, full of compassion, full of being a well-wisher of others, full of a caring person. As a devotee, that's also preaching. Preaching means by which we attract anybody to Krishna. So our dealings with others also attract one towards Krishna. Or if somebody is a good cook, but he's not a preacher and he doesn't have good knowledge of scriptures, but he cooks very nicely for Krishna. So eating that prasadam after it is offered to Krishna, that will definitely attract people to Krishna. Definitely. Prasadam works much more than the philosophy does. So that's also preaching. One who dresses the deities nicely, one who cleans the temple nicely, one who manages the temple nicely, or any other way, we can attract people to Krishna. That's all preaching. And this is what Krishna is saying. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he. Then he means in the previous verse, than he who explains this message to others. And then Krishna is saying, nor will there ever be one more dear. Means forever that person is dear. One who gives this message to others. So we all have to become preachers in different ways. Text 70. Adhyeshyate cha ya imam dharmyam samvadam aveyo Jnani yagyen tenaham ishtahasyamiti me matihe. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. So worshipping Krishna is not when we just offer lamp and agarbatti and other items. That's also worship. But this is a different kind of worship. Just when he who studies this sacred conversation worships me with his intelligence. So it's very, very dear. This Bhagavad Gita is very dear to Krishna. And we should just make it a point of reading it every day. 700 verses, 2 verses a day, it will take 1 year. And we definitely can do more than 2 verses a day. Text 71. Shraddhavan anasuyascha shrunuyadapi yo naraha swapi mukta shubhan lokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. And one who listens, so it's not just one who reads only, he gets benefited. One who listens also with faith and without envy, he becomes free from sinful reactions, free from all the sinful reactions of whatever karmas he has done, and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So this is how powerful Bhagavad Gita is. If you just listen to it with faith and without envy. In the 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold open class. And in that class, not all the students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It's explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in him as a supreme personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions. And after that, attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. So Prabhupada is explaining, so we cannot be assured of that in the class only devotees come, and people who don't have, who are not envious of Krishna, they only attend. We hold open classes, but people, when they listen to the message given by the right person and the right message, they can change. And this is how we all came. It's not like we were born in a devotional family and we were devotees from the very beginning. Somehow or other, we attended a class, we associated with devotees, we had prasadam, we went to take darshan at the temple, or we read a book, or something or other we did at the temple or in the association. And then we got a chance to become a devotee. And also, another major reason being, purports of Prabhupada, the commentaries written by Prabhupada, are so simple but so sublime, so powerful. Every word is very, very powerful. So the way he has presented it, it makes one get attracted to the philosophy. It makes one get attracted to Bhagavad Gita. That's really something. Where people generally run away from Bhagavad Gita, saying it's too much philosophy. But when we read Prabhupada's commentaries, because his commentaries are very, very sweet, because of his realizations and because of these are his ecstasies that he has put in these commentaries, and also because Prabhupada said, I did not write these commentaries, Krishna dictated to me. So whatever comes from Krishna, definitely it's going to be very, very sweet for people of Kali Yuga like us. So that is when we get really attracted to the whole process, to Krishna. And that's how Prabhupada has been changing the hearts, transforming the hearts of people, so many people all over the world. Generally, those who are free from sinful reactions, those who are very righteous, very easily take to Krishna consciousness. The word punya karmanam is very significant here. This refers to the performance of great sacrifices, like the Ashwamedh Yajna mentioned in the Vedic literature. Those who are righteous in performing devotional service, but who are not pure, can attain to the planetary system of the pole star or Dhruvloka, where Dhruv Maharaj is presiding. He is a great devotee of the Lord, and he has a special planet which is called the pole star. So in the verse, Krishna says that people who listen to this message with faith and without envy, they become pious, and they go to the planets where the pious dwells. Prabhupada talks about Dhruvloka or pole star. So they can go to Dhruvloka, or they can go to other. Dhruvloka is actually Vaikuntha planet. It's a replica of Vaikuntha planet. So these people can go to other pious planets like Satyaloka or Maharloka. These planets also. But the point is, definitely they'll go Urdhvam Gachanti Sattva. So they'll make progress towards the higher planets for anybody who listens to Bhagavad Gita with faith, without enviousness. How powerful the message is. Text 72. Kachid etat shrutam partha tvayekagrena chetasa kachid jnana sammoha pranashtaste dhananjaya. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind, and are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? The Lord was acting as a spiritual master of Arjuna. Therefore, it was his duty to inquire from Arjuna whether he understood the whole Bhagavad Gita in its proper perspective. If not, the Lord was ready to re-explain any point or the whole Bhagavad Gita if so required. Actually, anyone who hears Bhagavad Gita from a bona fide spiritual master, like Krishna or his representative, will find that all his ignorance is dispelled. Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book written by a poet or a fiction writer. It is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any person fortunate enough to hear these teachings from Krishna or from his bona fide spiritual representative is sure to become a liberated person and get out of the darkness of ignorance. So Krishna is asking Arjuna, have you heard this with attentive mind? So very, very important. One should hear Bhagavad Gita or any other spiritual discourse with an attentive mind. Arjuna was not only attentive, with the attention he was listening, he was desperate. He was really, really longing for this knowledge. So many questions he asked. He was really, really desperate. So many times, to purify us, Krishna will arrange, will orchestrate happenings in lives which will make us desperate, really desperate. For we would be looking for the right answer. We would be looking for the proper guidance. We would be in a situation that it will be all dark everywhere. That is what ignorance is. What Krishna is saying, are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So we would be in such situations. And since we are not as pure as Arjuna understood Bhagavad Gita in 48 minutes. Even if it takes us 48 lifetimes, we would be very lucky. Because we are in so much of ignorance. We might come out of ignorance and illusions are dispelled, but again we would be in ignorance and illusions. But Krishna's message, Krishna's devotees are always there to help us. So this is how Bhagavad Gita should be approached, with a desperate heart that I want to remove my ignorance. I want to get out of this illusion. First of all, we have to understand we are in ignorance and illusion. Then only we can try to get out. But more we read Bhagavad Gita by our intelligence, more we try to understand, more we'll understand how much ignorance we are. Ignorance of thinking of ourselves as this body, into the ignorance of keeping the body comfortable, happy, making that as a goal of life. That's all ignorance, actually. But as I said, we again and again fall down in ignorance and illusions because we are so conditioned. So conditioned. But anyway, the solution is only this: listening to Bhagavad Gita and other messages of Krishna over and over again. That's the only solution. And then now see what Arjun says. Nashto moha smritir labdha tat prasadan maya chita sthito asmi gat sandeha karishe vachanam tava. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm. Just 45 minutes ago, he was saying, my Gandhi is slipping from my hands and I cannot even stand up properly. And he fell, he just sat down on the chariot. Gandhi was on the chariot and both his hands were holding his head and he was crying, how can I kill my grandfather and my teacher? What shloka he said at that time, that how can I kill? How can I even reply to them in harsh words? Shloka like that appears in second chapter, in the beginning of second chapter. Bhunjiya bhogan rudir pradigdan. He says, if I get this kingdom by killing them, it will be whatever I enjoy, it will be tainted with blood. And now he's saying, I'm now firm and free from doubt. Second chapter he was saying, Karpanya dosha bhahat swabhava prichamitam dham sammod cheta. Karpanya dosha. I don't know what's my duty. You please explain it to me. He was crying. Literally he was crying. And now he's firm. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I'm now firm and free from doubt. No more doubts whether I should fight or not. I will fight, Arjuna says. Not just fight, I'll kill everybody. And I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. Krishna had given Arjuna an option. Yathechasi tatha kuru. Do as you like. And now Arjuna is firm. Karishye vachanam tava. Whatever you told me to fight, I'll fight. That is the result of listening to Bhagavad Gita properly. The constitutional position of a living entity represented by Arjuna is that he has to act according to the order of the Supreme Lord. He is meant for self-discipline. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the actual position of the living entity is that of eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Forgetting this principle, the living entity becomes conditioned by material nature. But in serving the Supreme Lord, becomes the liberated servant of God. The living entity's constitutional position is to be a servitor. He has to serve either the illusory Maya or the Supreme Lord. If he serves the Supreme Lord, he is in his normal condition. But he prefers to serve the illusory external energy, then certainly he will be in bondage. In illusion, the living entity is serving in this material world. He is bound by his lust and desires. Yet he thinks of himself as a master of the world. This is called illusion. When a person is liberated, his illusion is over, and he voluntarily surrenders unto the Supreme to act according to his desires. The last illusion, the last snare of Maya is to trap the living entity is the proposition that he is God. The living entity thinks himself that he is no longer a conditioned soul, but God. He is so unintelligent that he does not think that if he were God, how could he be in doubt? That he does not consider. So that is the last snare of illusion. Actually, to become free from illusory energy is to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and agree to act according to his order. So this is the only way to get free from illusion and doubts and ignorance. In conditional state, we are in so much of ignorance, so much of illusion. We don't even know what is right and what is not. But the way to become liberated is to follow this path, do the devotional service, and slowly, 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 the covering of Maya, covering of ignorance goes away, and we make steady progress. So the whole idea is to act according to the order of God. The word moha is very important in this verse. Moha refers to that which is opposed to knowledge. Actually, real knowledge is understanding that every living being is eternally a servitor of the Lord. But instead of thinking oneself in that position, the living entity thinks that he is not a servant, that he is a master of this material world, for he wants to lord it over the material nature. That is his illusion. This illusion can be overcome by the mercy of the Lord or by the mercy of a pure devotee. When that illusion is over, one agrees to act in Krishna consciousness. So this illusion that I am the controller, I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer, this has to go away. And slowly, slowly, when we are engaged in devotional service, we get purified. We get this realization: I'm not the controller, definitely not the proprietor, and certainly not the enjoyer of this material world. And that happens when one is acting more and more in Krishna consciousness with more devotion and determination and sincerity. Krishna consciousness is acting according to Krishna's order. A conditioned soul illusioned by the external energy of the matter does not know that the Supreme Lord is a master who is full of knowledge and who is the proprietor of everything. Whatever he desires, he can bestow upon his devotees. He is a friend of everyone, and he is especially inclined to his devotee. He is a controller of this material nature and all living entities. He is also the controller of inexhaustible time and is full of all opulences and all potencies. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can even give himself to the devotee. One who does not know him is under the spell of illusion. He does not become a devotee, but a servitor of Maya. This is what we've been doing for millions and millions and brilliant children of birth, is serving Maya. Arjuna, however, after hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, became free from all illusion. He could understand that Krishna was not only his friend, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he understood Krishna factually. So to study Bhagavad Gita is to understand Krishna factually. When a person is in full knowledge, he naturally surrenders to Krishna. When Arjuna understood that it was Krishna's plan to reduce the unnecessary increase of population, he agreed to fight according to Krishna's desire. He again took up his weapons, his arrows and bow, and to fight under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, all his illusions are gone, no more ignorance, no more I cannot fight, I'll not find happiness, and I'll commit sin, and I'm undecided. 5 reasons we listed. Varna Sankar will happen. 5 reasons we listed in first and second chapter of Arjuna's refusing to fight. And Krishna just cleared all his doubts, and now he's ready to fight. So anyway, we'll stop here. And I'm thinking that there are only 5 verses left. So tomorrow again we'll continue with Bhagavad Gita and try to complete Bhagavad Gita tomorrow. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Are you able to-
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you very much. I thought today you are going to complete the Bhagavad Gita. You are able to hear me now?
Yeah, I
Krishna
can.
Prabhu?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu, I can hear you.
My network may be not very good, so that's why it's breaking. We have almost come to the end of the Bhagavad Gita. So this Bhagavad Gita sessions you will continue next round of reading, or we are going to continue some other book on the weekends.
I think we'll carry on with Bhagavatam because it will take long time. So every day we will have Bhagavatam.
Yes, Prabhu. Oh, wonderful, Prabhu. And this Bhagavad Gita Jayanti is on 8th December. So we want some inspiration from you. Every year you used to take us for the book distribution and we used to thoroughly enjoy it. But nobody is taking us now. And on our own, we are not getting the energy and enthusiasm.
Nah, you should go. That day, I don't know what day is it. But
It's Sunday.
Oh, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
So you can try, you can arrange. Maybe Sarojini Nagar market, I don't know whichever market is open.
Okay, I'm actually praying for some kind of help so that I can go there with some devotees and do some distribution. But we are missing it. Whatever you used to do in Nehru Place and Sarojini Nagar Market, Hanuman Mandir, everything we are missing now.
Lajpat Nagar Market. Yeah, we did so much.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, when we were doing it, didn't look like that. But now that you are not there, I am seeing it is a Herculean task to arrange all the books to be there and giving out prasadam, attracting people by prasadam.
Prasadam, and then the announcement, we take the mic and everything.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, I'm praying that you come back and we'll do it sometime soon. Even if you're coming some other time, we will go for book distribution.
We'll see. Any other? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in fact, was the start of the session today. In fact, when we talked of the Gyan or the Bhagavad Gita should not be told to people who are envious, and then hearing is actually kind of that will increase devotion. I have 2 questions, one related to this and one remotely related to this. One, when we go for book distribution, last week we went and today also I'll go. So the people normally, in fact, you rightly said, they shrug off the shoulders and they say, Bhagavad Gita hai ghar mein or something. And then there are certain surprises and tests as well. People at times ask, कि यार गीता का क्रक्स क्या है, I mean, was the summary of it, yeah, matlab, how will it change my life? What should be the answer? Because I know, had there been a crux to Gita, in fact, Krishna wouldn't have kind of spent 48 minutes. He would have spoken that crux itself. In fact, entire Bhagavad Gita is crux. But at the same time, you also explain towards the end the most important sloks and all. So how do we handle such situation? Because we are one so impure, at least myself, and again so immature, don't know anything. Still, we want to go and do book distribution. That habit is there of spontaneously responding to people. How do we respond to such situation, Prabhuji?
See, crux is simple, that Krishna wants us to become his devotees. So for that, we can say there is a verse that Krishna repeated. The verse that appears twice in Bhagavad Gita, which is Manmana bhav madbhakto madhyadi mam namaskuru. So it is such an important verse that it appears twice. Krishna had to repeat it just to make sure we understand. So tell him, this is the crux actually. Or sarvdharman parityaja, but that verse one has to try to explain it properly. So just stick to this manmana bhav madbhakto. So then you'll be able to tell him that this is what Krishna wants. Otherwise, why would he say it again? 18th chapter and the end of 9th chapter. So this is the crux.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And the other question that I have is, in fact, rightly said, in fact, because we are very much at the very, very beginning of the journey, in fact, that excitement is always there. So, in fact, and being the Gita Jayanti month, when we kind of try to speak to colleagues more in office or maybe friends, etc. In fact, the one that we read just now, which is, in fact, don't tell it to devotees. So normally the tendency is, in fact, people in India at least, in fact, what I feel is everybody worships somebody or the other, demigod or something or the other they do. In fact, if they're not, at least their parents do. But somehow out of ignorance or kind of not receiving mercy of a spiritual master or a kind of bona fide representative, in fact, people have been in ignorance. For example, when I was in ignorance for a very long time. So when we kind of speak to these people, in fact, who basically, in fact, are no different than what I am, could be, in fact, it's just that I am viewing them to be more indulgent than what I am doing currently. So will that be kind of uh, somehow harmful for us because we are kind of trying to sell book to them or teach them or kind of talk to them?
First of all, don't tell them that because you're demigod worshippers, there's something wrong with you, liking with you, and you're in Maya or this. No, that's not right. That's not the way. Krishna himself said, if you read the verse in 3rd chapter, where he said, if whatever faith somebody has, you don't try to destroy that faith. If somebody has faith in demigods, it's okay. We just try to add Krishna. That's it. We just say, okay, whatever you're doing is great. Do it more. Do it nicely. Worshipping Lord Shiva, great. But just add Krishna also. Add Hare Krishna Mantra also. Maybe just 10 minutes a day. That's all. That is the right way to approach. We don't try to put anybody down. We have to transform the heart of people. We don't have to win the conversation and lose the person. That's not the right way.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That's okay, na Prabhuji. Prabhupada ji has empowered every one of us to kind of speak to everybody. In fact, whether we don't know who that person is, and you have yourself told in one of the class, we don't know what kind of sukriti they have from their previous lives. So it's better to speak to everybody and not judge. That's better, na Prabhuji. In fact, that way we at least will not be doing any further sin, no?
There is no sin in bhakti. Oh, don't worry about sin. You're doing preaching, it's okay. But we have to learn how to transform the heart. That's all. Preaching is transformation of the heart. Bhakti is transformation of the heart. Nothing else. We should not try to put anybody down. No way. That's not preaching. Is that okay?
Very true, Prabhuji. And would like to share an incident from last week. In fact, we had gone to Govindpuri area and the LIG flats, and incidentally, we rang the bell of a Muslim family.
Mm-hmm.
Had very nice kind of reflection they did for 2 minutes. This idea, hum log to we kind of, in our religion, we make sure our children, they undergo religious teachings, and we have a Maulvi coming to our home every evening, though my children go to a global school nearby. आप लोग क्या करते हो? आप लोग तो मैं सामने देखता हूँ बच्चे लोग किसी को पेरेंट्स कुछ बताते भी नहीं है रिलीजन के बारे में, आप गीता बांट रहे हो. So in fact that was an eye-opening thing, and then I think few of the people were standing nearby, they also heard, and then we had to say yes, we are at least trying. In fact, and that's a sad state of affairs these days कि पेरेंट्स को भी लगता है अगर बच्चा भक्ति करेगा तो बिगड़ गया, बाकी सब कर रहा तो सही है, भक्ति करेगा तो बिगड़ गया. And that guy, in fact, that Muslim family actually opened the eyes. In fact, that is how strict they are in terms of inculcating religious philosophies in their children. But we, in the so-called Hindu family, we kind of shy away from even talking of religious things at home.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. In fact, you look at not just Muslim families, Christian families.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sikh Sardars, they have to go study Gurbani. Christians, they study Bible. They have regular Bible classes in the churches. But only in Hindus, we take it so easy. And just because you are born Hindu, now you have direct connection with God and you don't need to do anything. That's not the
truth. तो वो मुसीबत है, मतलब वो बच्चा बिगड़ रहा है, घर वाले क्या बोलेंगे. मैं तो गाय वो कह रहा है यार मैं ले तो लूंगा, मैं स्टूडेंट हूँ, मेरे पेरेंट्स क्या बोलेंगे, फ्रेंड क्या बोलेंगे. Come on यार, आप रखो इसको, please take this. And take this as a you study. You are a student, so you have more time to study. That's the fear that people have. Crazy. Yeah. But thank you so much, Prabhuji. You have been enlightening us. Thanks to Radha Prabhu as well. So in fact, you have enlightened us so much. And somehow, in fact, yes, Bhagavatam classes are kind of no doubt nectar or the cream, everything. But personally, Prabhuji, in fact, Bhagavad Gita was actually, while we have come to an end, I realized that I think we will still need 2-3 more sessions on Bhagavad Gita, because I think just a drop of it is also will be an exaggeration if I've understood that. I think बस थोड़ी सी अभी समझ में आ रही कि भगवद गीता है, उसको समझना है, तो I think we'll need somebody like you to explain it to us all over again. I know that's not a legitimate request, it cannot be entertained, but I think this with the bus context set to and I'm feeling so sad that in fact I have not understood even more than a drop. So whenever time permits again, sometimes we'll see, Prabhuji, if we can have your mercy to go over Bhagavad Gita again.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll have it another session. Who knows?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you.